All right. So I hit almost an 11-mile run yesterday. I am exhausted. I felt like a walking corpse all day today, just very fatigued. So yesterday I was supposed to run a half marathon. So let me break it down for you guys if this is, the first video you're watching over this. I'm a little bit of a runner myself, used to be a much better, more proficient runner. Used to hit like 25 to 30 miles a week. But that was 2 years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago. I was like 15 pounds lighter at the time. And then I got into, lifting heavier weights instead of just doing body weight stuff. And so for this year, I've been running twice a week. It started out with just 1 or 2 mile runs. Up until maybe sometime in August this year, I decided I wanted to hit a minimum of 5 miles per week. So I've been doing that for maybe a few months now. And I like to kind of go out on a whim and just do things that I'm probably not prepared for, just to test myself. And I don't know, I kind of live for those things, just going out there and, diving into the thick of stuff and, seeing how well I can handle it. So yesterday, me and a buddy have been planning a trail run. We recently ran a 15K Tough Mudder, which was like a 10-mile obstacle course race with a bunch of mud and some different obstacles. So we ran that, I think, like 3 weekends ago at this point. And, it kind of lit my passion for running back up again. And ever since that Tough Mudder, I've been wanting to run a lot more. I've been wanting to get my mileage up. I've been wanting to get faster. But it is hard to balance, heavy lifting and running, especially being sleep deprived. I've noticed the last few weeks that I've got constant circles under my eyes. That's just due to my schedule and stuff. But anyways, so my passion for running has been fired up again. And I want to start running trails because I run in some Vivo barefoot shoes. They don't really have any padding. And so if I'm running on blacktop or even, heavy packed down roads, gravel roads, it can be a little harsh on my feet. And I was dealing with some plantar fasciitis, or I don't know how you pronounce it, but I was dealing with some of that coming into the Tough Mudder. And then I got out there and ran, 10 miles through a cow pasture, and my feet felt amazing the entire time. Didn't even think of my feet. So that told me, I need to get off the roads and start doing some trails. So me and my buddy, we picked out a trail, about a 13-mile trail, 13 and a half miles. So essentially a half marathon, a crap ton of elevation, 2,000 feet from start to finish. Let's see here, 13 and a half miles, 2,000 feet of elevation gained. So we decided to go run that yesterday. Keep in mind, we've never even walked this trail before, had no idea what kind of conditions it was going to be. We started in the dark, we were running with headlamps and flashlights. It was raining, everything that we had against us, we went for it. I was the only one that had my phone. At one point, we lost the trail, and we were trying to find it. And so we went way up this hill, decided that wasn't it, and started coming back down. And I had my phone out, trying to find the trail. And I was got to where I was trying to put my phone back in my pocket, and I slipped and fell down the hill. And the leaves were like knee deep. And so we started scrambling around trying to look for my phone. I didn't know if I threw it when I slipped and fell. Didn't know if it, just toppled out of my pocket. And I was like, "Hey, Brody, can you call my phone?" And he's like, "I left my phone in the car." I was like, "Oh, dude." Keep in mind, we're, 4, maybe 5 miles in at this point, in the middle of nowhere. I was like, crap. And so we start looking. I was getting ready to just say, screw it. We're going to leave my phone in the woods. He ended up finding it. We get back on the trail. We took several detours because we lost the trail. There's a few pretty heavy switchbacks where you're running, and the one on this occasion where we got lost, we were running the trail, and the trail dives into like a ditch, and as soon as you hit the ditch, you turn and cut left, like almost like you have to turn around to see the trail. And we hit the ditch and kept following the ditch, and we followed that all the way up the hill, then had to come back down and found it on the way back out. But anyways, I'm basically just going to complain tonight about how I got beat up yesterday. The legs are all scratched up from the briars and stuff. My legs started cramping as early as like mile 4 or mile 5. I remember running down a hill at about 4.5 miles because there was no flat ground out there. It's either uphill or downhill. Literally like a mountainside, I felt like we were running across. But I was running down a hill about 4.5 miles in, and I could feel, the jelly leg sensation, and I was like, this is not good. Neither of us packed any water with us. We went into that, as unprepared as possible. So I start cramping up at like mile 4 or 5, and I make it to about mile 8. And I think at that point, honestly, I'd given up mentally. My legs had cramped for about 2 miles straight. I'll throw up the splits at the end of this video, and they are on yesterday's video if you want to watch them. But I remember I pulled my phone out at 7.5 miles to see how far we had made it, and I was in pretty bad shape. And I pulled my phone out at like 7.5 miles, and I was like, oh my gosh, dude, we're not even, this is basically the halfway point, and I am shutting down. The legs have been seized for quite some time now. I got to start hiking up these hills. It's gotten to the point I can't run up the hills anymore. I can kind of jog the downhills, but when it comes to the uphills, everything is cramped so bad I've got to hike it. We get to this point, a big rock overlooking a lake. We lay down on the rock, looking up at the sky for a few minutes. Decided to get up, realized we lost the trail again, so we had to backtrack and get back on the trail. And at this point, I was like, Brody, we're not going to finish this. If we did finish it, I will say there's a very small chance we could have hiked the rest of it. I will say Brody's a much more proficient runner than I am. I believe that he could have ran the full trail last night. I think I could have hiked the rest of it. But running, I just wasn't there mentally to run through the rest of it. I think we would have been out there till like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning if we had to finish it. And I didn't want to keep Brody out there that late because we both had to go to work this next morning. And that trail, it cut up close to a road. And I was like, man, I can have somebody come pick us up. But as of finishing this, we're going to be out here all night if it comes down to finishing it. And so I basically made the call. We got up on the road, walked down the road about 2 miles almost to my truck. Several points, we just stopped walking, lay down on the road, moan. Like I said, the quad cramps, unreal. Full body agony yesterday. That was the most amount of pain that I've been in a very long time. And I want to say it's been a few years since I've dove into something like that and not finished it. And so I don't know if that is because, we just bit off more than we could chew. And, we physically couldn't do it, or you know, if that I just don't have it mentally like I used to. And the thought of that kind of bothers me, because I know that it was a failure on my part. I feel like I kind of let Brody down because I believe that man could have finished the run. And then, you know, I had to make the call to say, hey, I've got to get back on the road, you know, have somebody pick us up, bring us some waters, and take us back to my truck. Crazy good run though, very good. But the soreness today, I am not immobilized like I would be after a heavy squat day. But there is a dual, like constant aching pain from basically the sternum down that has been with me all day. Like obviously my calves and my quads and my glutes are sore. But there is just an ache that will not go away. So after the run yesterday, you know, we get back in my truck. I've got some like liquid IV and Propel packets. Keep in mind, it's almost 70 degrees. And I don't know what kind of shape we were in, but I gave Brody a packet and had him, you know, let him put it in one of his water bottles. And, you know, his hands were like shaking so bad, you know, he couldn't hardly get it into the water. And we drive down to the gas station, and I, you know, limp my way into the gas station to buy Gatorade, with my teeth chattering in 70 degrees, like full body, like trembles, teeth chattering, legs, I mean, just locked up, stiff-legged, limping through the gas station, like throbbing pain. It's a very good run. I don't know why I do those things to myself, but I feel like I did find my limit yesterday. I look back at that, and during the run, at that point of giving up, I think I kind of glossed over it, tried to look past it, but now, you know, the following day after, I've kind of had to, you know, mull over my defeat and my act of giving up yesterday. And so it's kind of bothered me, but I am fired up to go run some hill repeats as soon as I recover. Me and Brody decided we are going to go back to that trail at some point, probably next year, but we are going to go back and finish that trail. We are going to run the full trail. I wasn't there mentally yesterday like I should have been. Makes me sick that I had to give up. But I need to get my squats out of the way. But like the lower back is sore. Everything is sore. My hip flexors are the most sore they've ever been from all the uphill running. I've never had hip flexor soreness like this. Like stepping into the shower or getting up into my truck this morning was physically painful in the hips and the hip flexors. Like I've never had hip flexor pain like this before. Oh my gosh. Oh man. So if you want a good hip flexor workout, go run up a mountainside and you'll be feeling it the next day. But the fatigue today has been just, I'm just driving to work, just out of it, exhausted. I woke up this morning, so I finally got into bed about 11 last night and slept like a rock. I woke up this morning feeling like I'd been awake all night. But the last 2 miles, like I think we ran up until about 8 to 9 miles, and then we basically walked out from there. Oh my gosh. And then I ended my tracker whenever we finally got picked up. That's basically it. Super good run. We were supposed to run a half marathon yesterday. I didn't quite make it that far on my account. Brody started cramping. Once we got back on the road, he started having some pretty serious cramps. And I don't know. Once he started cramping, he's like, I don't know if I could have finished. But you know, I think he could have. But the detours that we took were wrecking us, man. I remember, you know, his watch and my phone, we were at they've got mile markers. And when my phone and his watch were at 8.5 miles, we passed the 7-mile marker. And so, you know, here we are thinking we're farther ahead than we are, and then we realize, you know, we've still got 5 miles to go here, not counting any more detours. And I don't know, it was crazy stuff yesterday. Super fun to dive into something like that, just go all out. But kind of got under my skin that, you know, I gave up like that yesterday. But that's basically the recap of the run. You know, almost lost my phone, ran in the dark on the trail we've never been before, kind of a rain some, no water with us. Be honest with you, it got to the point I was so thirsty. I was running through the woods, and I started grabbing leaves off of trees and licking the water off of leaves. I was in bad shape yesterday. I was hurting very, very bad. That's all I got for today. I'm gonna go inside and, you know, get some good rest. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow.